convenient place to charge everything, as you can see. So being that it was now about 8 o'clock in the morning and we had to stay up all day just to avoid jet lag, we just started walking. We saw these beach people, we saw this funny house, and lots of other interesting things like sewing machines and sculptures. And we ended up in Jaffa, sweaty and tired. And some interesting things there, like this plant hanging in the air. Great art gallery. I'd love to be able to afford to buy this stuff. Doesn't she look good with her hair pulled back like that? She doesn't believe me. I'm not sure exactly when we saw this tree. I just thought it was really interesting. So by the end of the day, we had taken this many steps. We were bushed. So we had our brains washed. The next day was really our first full day of touring, and we started at the Palmach Museum, which recounts the formation of the first Israeli Defense Forces. Terrific museum. You went room to room where full-size exhibits were combined with movies to give you an idea of how these mostly young people defended their toeholds in Palestine. Unfortunately, no pictures allowed, so this one of General Dayan will have to do. After that, we walked by the Tel Aviv Performing Arts Center, very pretty building, to the Tel Aviv Museum of Art. Beautiful. Where we saw lots of interesting pictures. This is Paul Signac, but you thought it was somebody else. And here's Chagall. This guy's really worried. Another Chagall, and I think that's pretty inappropriate, don't you? And another one. What's with this breast touching? This is Toulouse-Lautrec. And this is by a guy named Kissling. And I don't know why, but I just kept going back to this portrait. That girl, I couldn't stop looking at her. Here's another one by Kissling, same style. This is, of course, Monet. And here's our early Picasso with a wardrobe malfunction, I think. And this one I would have called Horseface. That's some modern stuff there. I never understand modern stuff. Look at these things. What does that mean? I don't know. And then some sculpture. Okay. After that, we met up with my cousin Nissan and his family, where we had a delightful lunch at a beautiful Asian restaurant. And then they took us on a tour of their town, Rishon LeZion. We went to their home. I don't have pictures of that. And then to this park, which is kind of a combination memorial to the loss of World War II and a playground for children. And that was done on purpose to juxtapose the new hope with the sad history. So it was quite a nice park. Later on, they took us to the beach area at Rishon LeZion, which was really crowded and active. We had a little snack and shared pictures, and then watched the sun set into the Mediterranean Sea. Isn't that beautiful? We did cross paths with the Bar Mitzvah group in Tel Aviv at their hotel. And here's a nice picture at sunset in Tel Aviv near the beach. The whole group. Near our apartment in Tel Aviv, we found a good restaurant for breakfast called The Street. This is an example of the food. This is granola, what they call granola. It was so thick, you could turn the plate upside down, nothing would have fallen out. After that, we said goodbye to Tel Aviv, rented a car, and drove down to Kibbutz Shoval near Beersheba, where I met up with more of my family. We had a nice lunch with them and spent a couple hours at my cousin's apartment, and had a beautiful family picture at the end. After that, we drove further south to the Mitzpeh Ramon, the site of the Ramon crater, a geological wonder caused by a gazillion years of geological and environmental changes. The Bereshit Hotel is built right on the edge of the crater. There it is at the top. a unique place with 5-star accommodations and service. They even have a machine for imprinting designs on the top of your cappuccino foam. I think this is Betty Crocker. These are ibexes. They were all over the place. This one came to drink at our pool in the back of our room. This guy was really horny. How's that for a dramatic beginning, huh? This, of course, was our deep tour to the bottom of the crater, where our handsome guide gave us the full description of how the crater was formed, and we watched a wonderful sunrise. Just gorgeous. And of course we applauded when it was all over. Beautiful. Later in the day, the Bar Mitzvah group and the more adventurous types went horseback riding and visited our alpaca farm, where Bob and I just kind of did a little local exploring, and then all the other lazy people just lied around in the pool all day. That was just great. The next day was off to Jerusalem, and on the way we stopped off at Ben Gurion's desert home, where he was at the end of his career. He helped form the kibbutz there. He advocated 4 kids minimum, and he practiced what he preached. I think that's why he lost his hair. Here he is. Handsome family. Well, that might be a little bit of a stretch. After we got to Jerusalem, we walked around a bit and we found this store that sold hookahs. Aren't they beautiful? And they even have one shaped like the Eiffel Tower. Can you believe it? Later, we visited the wall to get ourselves ready for the main event, Jacob's Bar Mitzvah, which is coming up the next day. And this is just the getting into the spirit part, not the real ceremony yet. As you might have guessed, this is not us. This, of course, is. This is 2,000-year-old rubble that was purposely left there so we would see the result of the destruction of the temple. On the right there is Rabbi Bugler, our own rabbi from Dix Hills Jewish Center in Dix Hills, New York, and he was on a personal vacation, was gracious enough to take time from his vacation to help Jacob and the other two bar mitzvahs in the ceremony. And we're so grateful that he did it. It's just
on that beautiful reading. We've never seen Jacob get down on his knees to do Torah. All right? It's a moment of joy and blessings. And now, Jacob, touch right there with the fringe. And the blessing afterwards. Baruch. Amen. At this moment of joy and blessings, we offer a prayer for our bar mitzvah. Jacob, don't go away. And we're surrounded by the family. Misha Berach Avatinu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov Mima Tezor V'Leah Hu Yivarech LaBachar B'Mitzvah Yaakov Ben Acham VeElka Bavo Haya Bavo Shalah Yanlich HaDamagon Chadara V'Lepon Simat Libo HaKadosh Baruch Yishbato V'Yishcham Yitzov Yishab Bracha V'Atzlacha V'Chol Masei Davin Kol Yisrael Lecha V'Namar Amen. Jacob, the joy of this moment is you become a bar mitzvah, celebrating this moment in front of the Kotel, the Western Wall, surrounded by family, by friends, by the Jewish people. May Am Yisrael Chai, may the joy of Judaism always live in your life. May the mitzvot you perform, Jacob, bring pride and joy to yourself, your brothers, your parents, your grandparents, family, and friends. May this moment of simcha always be celebrated. We thank God, Jacob, for the joy of your beautiful Torah reading on Aliyah to the Torah and the celebrations you create for all of us. May God bless you and your family this day and every day, and let us say Amen.
Of course, the rabbi didn't command everybody's attention. Well, I guess you win some and you lose some. Here are the three bar mitzvah moms. This is Michelle, Jacob's mom, and the Silverberg cousins. And this is the whole family, the Silverbergs, the Krugmans, the Lieberts, and the Auerbachs. This is Shira, our lovely tour guide, who led us out of Bar Mitzvah City and took us on a tour of some of the excavated areas near the southern wall, and then the western wall tunnels that were recently excavated, and then a tour of some of the areas around the old city. This was called the Triple Gate back in the day.
נצאנה אל הבוסתן, כמו בסמים ולבונה, לרגלך מפתן. לילה יורד לאט, ורוח שושן נושבה, הווה אלחש לך שיר בלט, זמר של אהבה. לילה יורד לאט.
These are 2,000-year-old Nike sneaker tracks. No, not really. These are chisel marks. And look how neatly those stones were put together. No space at all. And look at those nice electrical wires they had back then. These are some of the tunnels. Then off to the hotel for a quick dip in the pool, and then to the land of Genesis. enough with the dramatics. So since this was the land of Genesis, guess who came to meet us at his tent door? Abraham, of course. Where he served us a terrific dinner at his tent with his servants, and we had some ceremonies with candles and history lessons, and then we had a big party.
Just a movie, and now we got a surprise for you. Are you ready? Come on, I want to hear a big hand for a beautiful dancer.
I don't know what two dancers from Carnival in Rio had to do with Abraham, but maybe he was more well-traveled than we thought. I'm sorry, but I was sitting in a chair and she was dancing right in front of me and I had my camera in my hand, so what was I supposed to do? The end of a great night. So the next day, while the Bar Mitzvah group did things like swimming in the Dead Sea and pretending they were back in time riding donkeys and planting trees, we took a long, hilly walk to the Israel Museum. That's not it, by the way. A very interesting museum, very large. You could spend days there. Goes back from prehistoric times to the present day. As you can see, some of the relics. You wouldn't want to be buried in that, I don't think. And this looks like Hasidic formal wear, I guess. And you think you have a menorah collection, huh? It was very interesting standing next to the tourists, watching the Shabbos being ushered in. One tourist couple asked me, when is the show going to start? I think they could have used a little more enthusiasm here. And it was time to walk back to our hotel and have dinner. No, Jacob, we did not eat here. And here's where we said goodbye to the old city.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use...
And fly we did from Tel Aviv, Israel to Istanbul, Turkey to Cape Town, South Africa to the Cape Grace Hotel. It's situated at the dock area. There's hotels and touristy things to do and shopping and interesting stores too, like this one. Barbara and I made some new friends. There's mine and there's hers. next day was a touring day, so we drove down to the Cape, as they say, to the African penguin colony, or they also call them jackass penguins because they really sound like donkeys. They're just adorable.
Here they come. And they're they're all coming back. Oh, that's so adorable. Look at this.
You know what? I should do it on my cell phone so I can put it on Facebook. No.
Then we drove down the Coast Road, which is really a crazy road. But I wanted to listen to the conversation we had with our guide on the way down.
All knew this was never here. It was quite an entertaining drive. Yes, you don't want to drive this road when you've had a few drinks in you, that's for sure.
So you said the African community, you know, the Negro, what do you
Yes,
call
the black people.
Negroes, blacks.
Yes.
They lived over there. Is that what you were saying?
The people that lived over there were the colored community.
Colored.
Black people were seen a lot lower down on the totem pole.
Well, colored communities, not black.
No,
No?
it's different to how you guys classify in the US.
Now, what is colored?
Colored is a mixed parentage. In other words, black or white mother or father. 9 times out of 10, colored people can be traced right back to the slaves that came from the Far and the Middle East. So they are not a pure black, nor they're pure white.
And they lived there.
And they lived there, yes.
Okay.
Black people were given a lot less rights during apartheid than colored. They were put out in the townships there by the airport. We drove through,
My goodness.
drove past there
Look at
yesterday.
Jack under the rock. See this, Barbara?
This is crazy. This was never like this. There was just the rock above you. But this piece was the most dangerous. This is where a lot of chunks often fell off.
Yeah. Riding up the particular town of Cape. There's somebody coming the other way.
And up at the top, we had a nice lunch with our terrific guide. There's some food that I had. And then we went back down to Cape Town and we visited some of the sites. Harlan Building. Remember Botha? And there's Mr. Mandela overlooking everything. And just some pictures of a hotel I thought you might like to see. It was just a wonderful hotel. The Cape Grace, great service, a real grand old hotel, but it wasn't old. It was just grand. They didn't allow any irons in the room, hence the wrinkles. Sorry. Here's some South African students pretending they're from Bells. And by the way, in the background, that's Al and Irving Fabricant in 1989 singing to their brother in the hospital who was not doing so well at the time. In the same area is the Cape Town Hebrew congregation. This is the synagogue. It's very nice. It's old. And it's well attended and still active. Belz was a small shtetl or town in Eastern Europe. And in the same complex, there is a Holocaust museum. This is the Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens. That sign just means it's on a 100-year-old tree, and there are many of them.
Here we are at Table Mountain. The top, which is way up there. There's the cables. So that's why we're not doing that, but we're just staying here and taking pictures. And that's the first sun we've seen all day. And there's Cape Town in the distance. Isn't that pretty? And there's Robbins Island back there in the distance.
This is the Camps Bay area, which is a very expensive area in Cape Town. And this is where we were as the sun was going down, and we got some amazing pictures, I think, anyway.
Choosing your battle, pick yourself up and dust yourself off and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know it's serious, we're getting closer, this isn't over. The pressure's on, you feel it, but you got it all, believe it. When you fall, get up, oh, oh, and if you fall, get up, eh, eh. Samina, mina, sangalewa, 'cause this is Africa. Samina, mina, eh, eh. This time for Africa. Listen to your God, this is our motto. Your time to shine, don't wait in line. Y vamos por todo. People are raising.
Excited? So am I. So from now on, I'm going to skip around a little bit chronologically, but just to show you that every day in Africa kind of ended like this. Isn't that nice? We stayed in 3 different safari lodges in Africa. This one was in the Kruger National Park area of South Africa, kind of northeast South Africa, and was the most luxurious for sure. This is what is called, understatedly of course, our safari tent. That's the view looking out And there's our little pool. Look at that bedroom. Not bad, huh? Normally, each day you'd have 2 safari drives, one early in the morning and one later in the afternoon to the evening. That's when the animals are active. And you go out on roads like this, or like this, or like this. And in the day, or in the night. Sometimes the guide and or the tracker would get out of the vehicle to look for tracks in the sand, try to find a particular animal. So this is a lion track. And this is the rare Keds track. The guy told us a cockamamie story about this elephant that was giving birth and this was a leg sticking out. I don't know if I believe that. Do you? One thing elephants do a lot is eat. And I guess this is how the little ones learn how to do it. Elephants do a lot of tree damage, as you can see.
The baby could be like maybe 4 or 5 months old.
This guy's bathing himself. Wow. Oh, he was around the back. Suck it up and on the other side, baby. Yep. We also saw a few rhinoceroses, or rhinoceri. Rhinoceri? I don't know. This is the southern white rhinoceros. Kind of boring. Don't do much.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lions sleep tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lions sleep tonight.
We did see a female with 3 male baby cubs who showed some signs of life, but mostly the lions just kind of lolled around.
The lions sleep tonight. In the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight.
We did come across a lion at night, who of course was sleeping, but we kind of woke him up. He wasn't too happy. He kind of skulked away.
Oh, you gonna take me home tonight? Oh, down beside that red firelight. Oh, you gonna let it all hang out? Fat bottom girls, you make the around.
Each morning I get out my diet, can barely stand on my feet. Take a look in the mirror and cry. Lord, what you did to me. I spent all my years in believing you, but I just can't get no relief. Lord, somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me somebody to love? I work every day of my life. I work till I ache my bones. At the end of the day, I take home my half pay. Oh, tired out, my knees not straight away till the tears run down from my eyes. Oh, somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me somebody to love? Every day, I tried, but everybody wants to put me down. They say I'm gone crazy. They say I got a lot of water in my brain. I ain't got no common sense. I got nobody there to champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end.
This is the same leopard walking away, and then thinking there's something interesting under our vehicle, they're snooping right underneath it. They're right there, doesn't even see us. It's just incredible how they do that.
We are the champions of the world.
And this is the saga of the patient leopard looking for food.
How quiet it is. This leopard is waiting for a warthog to come out of its hole. And he's just sitting there and oblivious of us. Still he is. How quiet it is here.
The leopard is very, very patient. You might find that he's going to stay in the hole.
Well, he was rewarded for his patience because obviously there's the dead warthog up in the tree with the leopard. But from the condition of the carcass, the guide said that hyenas must have gotten it from him sometime during the day, and then he got it back again. And there's another hyena waiting under the tree for anything to fall down. They can't climb trees, so eventually the leopard just leaves it up in a tree for later and climbs down. And speaking of food, we were served one dinner in a railway car that's on the siding near one camp. Here's some examples of the presentation of the food. It's really nice. And this is called flapjacks. That was breakfast. My goodness. Looks like Audrey too. That's from Little Shop of Horrors, in case you didn't know. We were also entertained occasionally. This is a semi-professional singing group from some of the towns nearby. And sometimes by the staff, like this. And also as we arrived into the camps. And sometimes they were so good that they applauded themselves.
Thank you.
One camp gave us a surprise dinner for our 50th anniversary, and we sat outside our room at night. They set that up for us. Look at these dishes, they were just delicious. There was a bottle of wine, and set up a beautiful bath with flowers all over the place. During each safari drive, there'd be a break, of course, and we'd have some coffee, or some soft drinks, or some wine. And each time it was good for a potty break too, so you'd find some nice big termite mound to pee behind, but first the guide had to make sure there wasn't one of these behind them. The breaks in the evening were called, of course, sundowners because they ended like this. I did want to talk about how we got from camp to camp. The first airport we went to was really nice. And look at this. We were really surprised. It was beautiful. It even had a priority pass lounge. But this was our plane. The pilot looked like he was 15 years old. This is the cockpit. He had his own video game in case he got bored. Sorry I didn't get a picture of Barbara's white knuckles. And after an hour and a half on this plane, we didn't feel so good. This is Shinde Landing Strip, Terminal B. One plane took us to Livingstone, Zimbabwe, where we stayed at the Victoria Falls Hotel, and we saw, guess what? Victoria Falls. It's one of those grand old hotels with a lot of wood. Has a beautiful view of the bridge over there. You have tea time and things like that. And there's this guy playing piano in the afternoon in the lobby. I think you get the picture, right?
Look at this waterfall. This is just the left edge. Again, the main falls on one end. The other end, way over there.
This is Devil's Pool, a natural depression in the rock bed just before the edge of the falls, and if you're crazy enough to do it, good for you. Of course, we had to do some souvenir shopping, and we did some serious damage at this local market. We didn't buy this though. In the evening, we went to a must-do experience in Victoria Falls, the Boma Dinner and Drum Show.
Show yourself. This one goes like this.
Only the very serious drummers get that special mark on their faces. Okay, as Barbara would say, we got that over with. Now back to the animals. So remember this beautiful animal? This is a cheetah, just gorgeous. We found him in the morning just by his termite mound, just looking around, looking for something to eat, basically. This way, that way. So finally, he or she, I think it's she, walked off. Later in the day, this is what we found. That is a lechwe, it's kind of antelope carcass. You notice the stomach is distended. They try not to eat anything with the stomach or the digestive tract because the odor would attract other animals, so they eat around it. Just kind of fascinating and revolting at the same time. There's Miss Bloody Mouth again. You notice under her left eye there's a bruise that wasn't there in the morning because she must have gotten that in the struggle with the animal. Another little mini story we had was this mother hyena who was in front of her den in the morning, and later we found her with her cub, who she felt safe enough to let out and was nursing. Adorable. But hyenas in general kind of freak me out. Just, they're so funny looking. The animals are really afraid of them, as you can see. Watch.
The hyena must be over there then.
No, the hyena's over there, straight ahead.
Oh, how come? Can you see from here?
Yeah. You see that fallen down tree in the front?
Yeah.
If you come down, the hyena is right there. Right.
One activity we did was a Mokoro excursion. It's just a canoe, basically. You know, we
are in the
paddled
Mokoro
around in the marsh.
On our boat trip.
That is papyrus. That is a bird's nest. That is a flower. Those are lily pads. Boring, huh? Oh, we did see one hippo. That's as close as we could get to him. And the graceful giraffe. Notice how they walk. 2 right legs, 2 left legs, 2 right legs, 2 left legs. Most animals don't do that. They use alternate right and left, right, right, left. Now you know it. One water buffalo. 3 buffaloes. I don't know, 5 buffaloes? Dozens of buffaloes? And hundreds of buffaloes. Really an awe-inspiring sight, I must say.
More.
And finally, we must tell you about an activity we did at Sanctuary Stanley's camp called Walking with Elephants, where we spent an afternoon with Doug and Sandy Groves, who have 2 orphaned elephants that they've been taking care of for over 25 years, Jabu and Morula. Jabu is the male, Morula is the female. There was a 3rd elephant who died about 6 months before this. Well, here is Marula getting up from a lying down position. I wondered how they could do that. They're pretty good at it. Not bad, huh?
Yeah, it did. Give it like a little kick.
Look at the nose. See, it has a septum just like ours. And look at those feet, how callous they are.
1, 2, 3. Sometimes the ears will slip against the sides of the shoulders.
So you see, even an elephant needs a shoulder to lean on sometimes. So obviously they're tame enough for interaction with us, and we had plenty of it. You can touch the tusk and get kissed and take it for a walk. And with a little prodding, even Barbara did it. Pretty good.
Actually did it. Took a lot of coaxing, but she did it. Good for her.
And after that, we had a nice lunch under the watchful eye of our 2 elephant friends, who also got their own lunch. It was an amazing experience and one we won't soon forget. We saw so much, it's just impossible to show you everything, but we hope you got the gist. So go do some traveling. It's a big wide world out there.
You can't even see her face.
How about if I do this? Can you see my face?
Much better. Much better.